This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the Baltimore Ravens and the Philadelphia Eagles. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Jackson and the Ravens come up now 1st and 10. A first carry now for Alex Collins. And he'll get this one up to the 26. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
The last play got just a yard. Here's 2nd and 9 from the 26. On 2nd down, Jackson. Incomplete to the tight end Walker, right side. And they'll bring him down at the 27-yard line. That throw good for only a couple. It brings up 3rd down.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
And that was a good start getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
On 3rd down, Jackson. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete. You can tell they were hoping for a flag there offensively. Several on the sideline motioning. Hey, why not a penalty? Why not a penalty? What did you see?
Yeah, I think you've got to let them play, and the officials are instructed. If there's contact coming from both sides, no flag. Let them fight it out.
And forces 4th down. It'll wind up being a net of 41. 9-yard return, 50 on the punt. And the Eagles will have it, taking over 1st and 10. The 4th down run successful. Now they look to pay it off on 1st down. On the ground, this is Rashad Penny. And he's going to lose yards. They take him down at the 26. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be 2nd down.
I know when I was a kid, I always got real excited when I saw those lateral-type runs. But the best backs that made it happen, they put a foot in the ground and just go. That didn't happen there. That play got swallowed up.
The connection here with Nelson Aguilar. And they work this well upfield across the 45. A good pickup there at 22. Just the first quarter, but tackling going to be so important going forward. They've got to limit plays like that.
And that's something when you see it happen early in the game and they don't get him on the ground, you can always tell that they were concerned about it going in. Because I can just tell you from my days, I remember being in college and learning all off-season about our season open opponent, and they had a receiver that could shake and bake with the best of them. I tackled him on the first pass of the game, and the relief was incredible. I ended up having a pretty decent ball game. But if I'd missed him, it would have been a long night.
On 1st and 10, here's Wentz. That's caught by the big tight end, Dallas Goedert. And all the way inside the 15 before they drop him. And a nice gain of 21 yards.
I do believe we'll see a little bit more of this as this game progresses, because when you can have that type of a gain in the middle of their defense, it hurts them in so many ways, because most teams like to be strong down the middle. And if you can sting them there, that open things up for you on the outside as well.
That's where their big tight end, is so good, that middle third, the seam routes, the in routes. Yeah, you're right. Probably see more of that.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage and fortitude to go in the middle as well, and he's got it.
Maybe just a slight detour on what's been a strong drive. Here's 2nd and 11. On 2nd down, here's Penny. And he'll take it into the end zone for an Eagles touchdown. Rashad Penny, his 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Eagles have taken the early lead. Heck of a start to his season. He had 2 touchdowns in the opener last week, another one here in week 2.
Well, I don't want to call him a touchdown machine this early, but sometimes you get locked in, and you feel good about things. You get into that zone, and those touchdowns come in bunches. He may be off to that kind of a start.
It's like he was shot out of a cannon. I would imagine success this early, great momentum going forward for the rest of the year.
He keeps this up, they'll soon be chanting MVP anytime he touches the ball.
And now here come the Ravens. They punted last time they had it. What steps, Charles, you think they have to take to make sure they don't do that again?
Well, let's just go to the football 101, the trade expression 101. Win first down. Make 5, 6, 7 yards on first down and make it a 2nd and 3, 2nd and manageable. Keep accumulating first downs that way. Keep moving the football. You don't want to get behind the sticks because then the defense has the advantage.
A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. On 2nd down, Collins. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. The corner, Ronald Darby, comes up to get it. Well, they know how to protect the pass, but sometimes cornerbacks, they can also stop the run, can't they?
Is that what we call a complete corner? Yeah, because we're so used to these guys just being defenders in the pass game. How about the guys who can come up and make the tackles? That's what we just saw there for no gain, too.
Detroit! Detroit! Gone!
On 3rd down, Jackson. Looking for Snead, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 38. And he'll take this back down inside the 20. Unfortunately for him, if last week was any indication, we knew a pick was coming at some point. Last week it was interception after interception, and here we go again.
We actually quit counting last week at a certain point because I thought I was going to run out of fingers, all right, because I'm not all that skilled as a mathematician. But you're right. It felt like a matter of time, and you got to think the guys on defense, they couldn't wait for this opportunity after what they saw on tape.
It's a gain of 13 for number 13, and it gives them a first down. And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful? You're losing playing against a good quarterback like he is to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think that's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme. And you can drop anyone out of your defensive front, defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the quarterback and still try and cover downfield.
2nd and goal from the 1.
Shorty.
Penny will try to punch it in. And they will stop him after a fairly minimal pickup. It'll go as no gain on the play, and now they're looking at a 3rd and goal. 2 straight shots on the ground. Now on 3rd, do you go to the air?
I think the possibility exists, and if you're doing it, you're probably going play action since you ran it twice. But I often think that 2nd down is the time you go play action and throw the ball. I say commit to the run and think about it being 4-down territory.
This will be a 2-yard loss on the play. And that will bring up an interesting decision here on 4th and goal. And the kick by Elliott is good. And that will make our score 9-0. So it's an old-school extra point that counts 3 times. It's certainly a disappointment they weren't able to get it in the end zone.
Yeah, I can just imagine post-game, head coach looking at the box score, 19-yard field goal, grimacing a little bit, but having to realize that at that moment, getting 3 points was vital. Go ahead and get the points, put them on the board.
Jackson and the Ravens come up now, 1st and 10. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. Fletcher Cox able to get him for a loss of about 3.
Well, that's a pretty darn good start to his season, huh? A sack in the opener, adds a 2nd one here. That tells you about his offseason. He came in determined to have a big year, and it's paying off.
Detroit!
Second quarter now. Brandon Gaudin, Charles Davis with you. It's the Ravens who have the... So after the sack, they'll come up on a still manageable 2nd and 13.
All right, here we go. Blue 90. Blue 90. Pass.
Here's Jackson. And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete. Seems like this defense, especially the secondary, has really been contesting about every throw in this first half.
Remind me of a good half-court defensive basketball team. Every time a pass is thrown, they're right there in good defensive position, able to affect the play.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. Now it's Jackson. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked off around the 41, and he will return this one to the 30-yard line.
So that's back-to-back drives where they've thrown an interception. Ordinarily, we look at the offense and say, what's going on with your scheme? Maybe we should look at the defense and just give them a whole lot of credit. They've got them frustrated right now.
So after the INT, here's Wentz, eluding the pressure right, and he'll go down at the 28. Give him a couple on the scramble. It's 2nd down.
Yeah, he only gets a few yards on 1st and 10, but he's better off doing that than throwing an incompletion or even worse, an interception.
Here we go. Back. 120.
Wentz to throw on 2nd down. Dumps that off to Penny as running back. And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. A solid gain of 15 yards, and the sticks move.
And this is why trying to cover the angle route is so difficult. Anyone playing the linebacker position, when they see a running back out of the backfield widen, because he heads towards the flat first, oftentimes you widen too much and overcommit. He cuts up inside, and that's what we saw there. A nice pickup for a 1st down.
And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. No gain on the play there, 2nd down.
And the big fella stuffed that one up in a big way. I think doubling him has to be a priority because you can't move up to the next level if you don't take care of him first.
Now Wentz throwing on 2nd down. Flush to his right. And he'll take it into the end zone for an Eagles touchdown. Will Fuller, his 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Eagles add on to their lead. This time, the extra point up and good. And that could be important as that makes this a 16-point lead. Elliott now to kick this one away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And the decision to bring it out is going to cost him about 7 yards all told as he's taken down back shy of the 20. And now Baltimore gets set to take the field. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points get that 0 off the board.
All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56.
Jackson on 1st down. It's brought in here by Willie Snead. And they've got it well across midfield down to the 40 before it's all said and done. Give him 30 yards there.
Well, partner, I'm not sure how this drive's going to end, but how about the way they flip field position there? A nice attacking play that picked up a heck of a chunk of yardage.
Throwing on 1st down, it's Jackson. A right side catch by Crabtree. And he'll get it inside the 40 to the 39. Just a yard on the catch there. It'll be 2nd and 9.
The goal of a wide receiver screen is get enough blockers in front to create a wall and let him pick his spot to run the football. How about the defense there, swarming to it and not allowing that to happen? Did not let him get downfield.
Under 4 to go now as the clock runs and they come up on 2nd down. And Jackson throwing once more. And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. Picked off near the 32. And they're going to set up shop at the 32-yard line.
You hear me laughing, partner, and I'm not laughing at the situation, but sometimes you just get yourself into a rut It's hard to shake yourself out of it.
Wentz and the Eagles now with a 1st and 10 at about the 32. Wentz going to throw. And he'll be out of bounds, but able to get it up past the 45. They may want to go back to that one. First play of the drive, good for 15 and a first down. Right after the turnover, they come out throwing.
And that means it's a sudden change situation. We used to practice it on defense. Sudden change, get out there, stop the offense. But you typically run out there a little bit unsettled. I think that's why he came right out throwing the football, hoping to catch him off balance.
And he did. Flushed out right. Going right side here, and that's complete. And he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40. That one good for 16, and the drive will continue. Back-to-back good plays have him on the move on first down. Wentz now on first down. Looking for Aguilar, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Matthias Farley, and they will set up shop at their own 41-yard line.
And Brandon, the passing game for both of these teams is going to be affected as the game goes along. It's not looking like the rain's going to let up anytime soon, so that might mean a few more wobbly passes and wide receiver slips. And this one winds up getting intercepted.
After the interception, here's Jackson. And for the 4th time tonight, it's an interception. Anthony Averett picks it, and his guys are going to take over at their own 48-yard line. We haven't even escaped the first half, and he's already thrown 4 picks.
And Brandon, back in the good old days, probably back before you were born, if your starter threw 4 in the first half, he might throw 8 or more for the game because they weren't going to pull him out. But nowadays, the patience level isn't quite.
Touchdown, Philadelphia! Rashad Penny, he scored on the ground and through the air. And the Eagles add 6 to their lead. Well, he's used to running it that distance. Here he had to catch it, too, before making the run. Heck of a play for the score.
There's not many things better for an offense than a back who is a complete guy, who can run it and catch it. And we just saw him complete a big-time play for a touchdown.
The point after through the raindrops, up and good. And that pushes the lead up to 23. Elliott now to kick this one away. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he is out of bounds as they'll start up past the 30. Now the Baltimore offense heading back out onto the field. And some dangerous territory. You're already down 3 scores. A 3-and-out here, or an inability to put any points up. This one might be over by half.
Yeah, and what you also have to guard against is calling every play for a big shot downfield. You know, thinking you're going to get all these points back on one drive. You're not. And last time I looked, it's still the first half. I'm not saying you have ultimate patience here, but you also don't have to go ahead and force everything either.
10 yards there to start the drive, and just enough by about the length of the football for a first down. Now a play fake here on first down. And Walker with it over the middle. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40. And the play goes for 19 yards. Gives him a new set of downs. 2 minutes remain here in the first half. We'll come back to Philadelphia after this. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down.
All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56.
Here's a first down run with Collins. And a short gain there down to the 37-yard line. And now the Eagles going to signal for a timeout. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll take it down to the 30-yard line. Good work to pick up 7 yards there. That gets him into a 3rd-and-1 situation.
Even though they gave up more than they wanted to on that play, it actually illustrates how well they bottled him up throughout the game because that was his longest run of this contest.
Jackson. And this is going to be incomplete. I hate to sound really negative, but at this point, an incomplete pass, almost a moral victory that it's not picked off.
Well, you may hate to sound negative, but that was negative.
It was very negative, I know. But all these first-half interceptions, it's been tough to watch.
Yeah, couldn't find a silver lining in this one. Much more like lead.
So they do get the 3 points before they hit halftime. Something to build on, maybe.
Yeah, go ahead and raise the banner, right? But wave the flag. That's good. Got points, and now, as you said, they've got something to build on as they get ready for the second half.
The Eagles coming out as they get ready. And last time, the formula was pretty simple. 1-play drive, long pass. That maybe they just want to do that again, right?
And that's exactly how you want to draw things up. Whether it's on your grease board, right, in your playbook, 1-play drive is exactly what you want on offense. What they have to be careful of is not having a letdown. It was fairly easy last time. They can't expect that going forward.
And we'll see if it's that easy here. Now, the first play of the drive there is incomplete.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that first down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
Don't go.
Once again here on 2nd and 10. Escaping the pressure right. And seeing nowhere to throw, he chucks this one away from harm. Incomplete. Now it's 3rd down.
Feels like they're getting caught in between here because they didn't incompletions on 1st and 2nd down. Now you got to worry a little bit about the clock because you prefer not to give them another shot here in the first half. But if you don't pick up the 1st down, guess what? You're likely going to have to.
On 3rd down, Penny. And they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. It's a 6-yard gain, and it leaves them looking at a 4th down.
He did have the touchdown run earlier, but not a heck of a lot more than that throughout this game.
No, not at all. In fact, I would say that this defense has done as good of a job on him as they have on any runner in recent memory. And now Baltimore gets set to take the field. And tough to win games if you're going field goal, field goal, field goal here. They got field goal last time. Now they'll be looking for a touchdown.
They're looking for the big chunk now because, as you noted, the field goal way of doing it makes it that much harder and puts more pressure on every possession for you now. Go ahead and get 6 and feel a lot more comfortable about the position they're in.
Bigger chunks. We'll see if they can get the score. The drive starts with a run by Collins. And he'll work his way across the 30 to the 32. Give him 9 on the carry that time, and they're set up with a 2nd and 1.
First play of the drive, let's give credit all around. Excellent blocking, but the guy carrying the ball, he was the finisher. A really nice run.
And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down.
Well, partner, they're not content to run this one out as we head towards the half, trying to hit a big chunk play right there and add to their score.
Now, this is a confident group. At the very least, they're thinking field goal.
Yeah, and I don't blame them one bit. I don't think you sit on the ball going into the half when you have a chance to put some more points on the board.
That is caught. It's Perriman. Now, whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense, as the clock will stop with 37 seconds to play in this first half. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10.
Gone! Detroit!
Now Jackson on 1st down. And it's complete. It's Alex Collins. And he'll get it inside the 40 to the 39. 10 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down.
Well, it's tough to be a defender in today's NFL because there's so many things to account for in today's passing game, including the back sneaking out of the backfield.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. And now maybe they want some extra time to talk about this 3rd and long play as we'll get a timeout. As they'll stop it with 17 seconds to go in this first half of action. From midfield now, here's Jackson. He's going to look deep for Perriman. Incomplete, and we're down to 8 seconds now. Here's Sam Cook now. He'll boot it away from about his 35. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. Oh, he'll field it in the end zone. So due to time constraints, we move you forward in today's broadcast to the beginning of the third quarter. All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. Out come the Eagles now as they'll go on offense first here in the third quarter. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. First play of the drive, a success, 19 yards.
I like how they work the tight end on a nice little under route there, and if you're going to give him that much space, he's not going to catch the football. He's going to run away from you a little bit, and that's exactly what he just did there, picking up extra yardage.
Penny, the first down carry. And across midfield he goes into Raven territory. 9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1.
Running lanes were at a premium in the first half, but he's able to find some room there, and he's hoping that that's a precursor of a big second half.
Now they'll run it again with Penny. And he'll be taken down at the 44-yard line. Give him 3 yards and a fresh set of downs.
Third quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
Here's a give to Penny. And he gets this inside the 35-yard line. A nice pickup there of 11 yards, and it'll move the sticks.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball and protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. Throwing on first is Wentz. Eluding the pressure right. And he'll work it inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. He'll wind up getting right about 4 there on the scramble, and it's 2nd down.
Nice job there defensively. A great time to dial up a blitz.
And give him credit under center instead of throwing it away. Actually a pretty good job of getting past the line of scrimmage, not losing yardage. Here's Wentz to throw. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. They needed a break. They needed to make a play here in the third quarter. Defensively, they did that. Now they got to go quickly and get some points on the board.
And the best part is that they made their own break. Taking the ball away. Now they just look at their offense and saying, guys,
let's go.
Come on, capitalize on this one.
They'll begin the drive with Collins. And it's been like this all night long. Nowhere to run as they stop him behind the line. It'll be a loss of a yard, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 11. After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. Now Jackson on 2nd down. Brought in left side by Snead. And he's able to get up here to the 26. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face 3rd down. Cool under pressure right there, escaping the pocket and finding what I think was not his primary target.
And some of these guys are just so comfortable getting outside of the pocket that they'll do it on purpose. It doesn't even need to be a breakdown. They move, and they know it affects the defense, because a lot of times you get lost in coverage in the secondary. And I think you're exactly right. Wasn't his primary target. Found a secondary guy who sprang open, probably because of his movement out of the pocket.
On 3rd down, this is Collins. And he will be knocked down hard, but he will have the 1st down. A gain of 4 that time as the drive continues.
Tough first half for him, unable to put up the numbers he's used to producing. But with a guy like him,
Eagle pressure, too much this time. Down he goes. Fletcher Cox in there to drop him for his 2nd sack now here tonight. After the sack, here's 2nd and 11. from the gun, Jackson. Flush to his right. And the pressure gets to him again.
So one quick, easy analysis about why they've struggled so far. They keep putting themselves in third and long situations. They just took another sack right there.
And the offensive film session tomorrow may be a little longer than it normally is.
Not a lot of positive grades will be handed out thus far.
So 2 plays with only negative yardage to show, and now it's 3rd and 16. Throwing is Jackson. He uncorks it for... And my goodness, another interception. Picked off at the 49. And a terrific return as he brings this one all the way back to the 30. The interception woes, they just continue to mount. He's thrown 5 picks. At this point, you got to be thinking, is it something between the ears?
I think a confidence hit does occur once you start getting those numbers up there a little bit. But as you and I both know, it's not always just one guy's fault. Maybe somebody ran the wrong pattern. Maybe some balls were tipped. It could be so many different things. Bottom line, though, it comes back to the guy throwing them.
This complete left side to Aguilar. And finally down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7. That one goes for 24 yards.
As the field starts to get condensed, the defense likes that a lot because now you don't have as much space to cover, but a well-run corner route there.
And what can they do here on 2nd and goal? 3 red zone trips so far have yielded 2 touchdowns and a field goal. They'll try and run forward with Petty. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down.
It's a tough one right there. He ran right into the teeth of the blitz as the linebacker was freed up in order to stuff that one for a loss. I think quarterbacks got to see that. Got to find a way to audible into something a little more advantageous.
They'll give it to him up the middle. He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down.
I think it's pretty evident. We can say what a difference a week makes. Last week, he ran pretty much wild, didn't he? Did pretty much what he wanted to do. But this one, they've stopped him cold. That, to me, that's good scouting and even better execution.
Yeah, and they stopped him behind the line right there. They obviously watched the tape a few times and made some adjustments. And he'll be brought down here at the 3-yard line. Call it 6, maybe 7, but now they're left with 4th down and goal.
Some good, strong running right there. Some power and some explosiveness just about got him into the end zone.
And Elliott puts this one through. And that lead will move from 20 up now to 23. A good drive gets them inside the 5, but they could not punch it in.
And credit the defense, too. Make sure that happens because that was the old bend but don't break approach. Made sure they contained them when they absolutely had to and forced the field goal attempt that went through.
And a nice return sets them up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. And now Baltimore gets set to take the field. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack him here. And now here's another interception. Picked off by Avonte Maddox. And they get the football. They'll set up shop at their own 49-yard line. Wentz and the Eagles now with a 1st and 10, just shy of midfield at the 49. Working from the gun, Wentz. And that one not to be. It's incomplete. So they couldn't hook up as time has now run out on this 3rd quarter of play. An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Now Wentz on the bootleg. And that one got tipped. Kind of threw everything off. It brings up 3rd.
Well, the secondary's really struggled today, but that's a little bit of a measure of revenge, isn't it? And they just followed the basic rules. See ball, knock ball away. Turned into a nice play.
The Eagles on 3rd down. 0 for 3 to this point. They could use a conversion. This is 3rd and 10.
180! He's coming. Double up. Get over
On play action, Wentz fights off the and he's going to be hit and taken down. Back right around the 48-yard line.
We've watched this a long time, and I still don't believe we get it. 3rd and long. Why are you calling play action?
Yeah, because they're not going to bite defensively, right?
No, not at all. I did have a coach explain to me years ago that for some teams, that's how they have to deal with pass protection and their line blocking. But to me, it seems silly.
Yeah, well, they're silly, and it leads to a play-action sack. And now Baltimore gets set to take the field. And last time wasn't pretty. One play and an interception. We'll see if they can do better.
I want to see if they want to go ahead and throw the ball again now on this drive after what happened on the last one. Throw it on the first play. Give the quarterback some confidence.
See what happens. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. And complete to the tight end Walker, right side. Give him 9 there on the first down completion. Decent start to the drive, but let's face it, they need a lot of things to go right in a short amount of time, down 3 scores.
Yeah, they're going to run their 2-minute offense here in this game, but this is for future games. Can they get better and be ready for the next time, hopefully with a chance to win?
And they're going to get this beyond the 40 before he's taken down. He got 29 yards that time. Throwing now, Jackson on first down. And his pass incomplete. Crabtree the target on that one, and that'll bring up 2nd down.
Brandon, at least there's one bright side to that incompletion.
What's that?
It wasn't an interception.
Wow. You're a nice guy. That was kind of savage. But correct. No pick, just incomplete that time. Ball on the 42 as they come up 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. Here's Jackson again. That's incomplete. Nearly another pick. My goodness. Another wayward pass. You know, things started out poorly in this game, and to be frank, they just really haven't gotten much better.
And all that does is embolden a secondary. They feel good about what's going on, and they just play better and better.
Gone!
On 3rd down, Jackson. And my goodness, another interception. It's the former Seahawk, Earl Thomas. Thomas barreling ahead. The number 7 usually lucky here. Not for him. 7 picks he's thrown in this game. That's only happened 6 times since 1960.
And I know that the most recent time it happened, the guy who threw him, he had won a Heisman Trophy in college, so sometimes you just have a lousy game. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad career, but when you're talking about one game, 7, you're right, not lucky at all.
Yeah, Ty Detmer, the last to do it in 2001, to throw 7 picks.
Bottom line, they want to keep this clock rolling, so they'll take that one right there. They just want to keep falling forward, and they want to put the onus on the big fellas up front in order to bring this one home.
On 2nd down, here's Wentz. And he will go down outside of the pocket for a sack. Tried to get away, but could not. Willie Henry able to collapse the pocket and drop him for a loss of a yard. The Eagles on 3rd down. Not good. 0 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd and 9.
There we go. Back man. 180!
Shotgun now for Wentz. Pushing his way through. He's got Fuller. He had the touchdown earlier. This one's going to get him a first down. And a good quarterback facing zone coverage. If he has just a little bit of time to survey the scene, that's what's going to happen.
No doubt about it. If there's no pressure, he's going to continue to pick them apart because he'll have all that time to find someone open downfield. You can only cover for so long. So maybe they want to go to a zone blitz scheme, get a little bit more pressure. Remember when Carolina did that against Denver? They lost the game ultimately. They dropped the defensive end out, and he ended up with an interception in that game. And
he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Philadelphia. 3 touchdown passes now for Carson Wentz. And the Eagles take advantage of good field position on the turnover to cash this one in. They were still throwing with a comfortable lead here late, and now that lead even more comfortable.
And your first thought is there bad blood that went into this one ahead of time, that maybe they're seeking some revenge or they just don't like them? But the other thing that always hits me is, Are they worried about playoff positioning? Right? Are they worried about, do you need enough points in case there's a tiebreaker that comes into play later?
And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. And the Ravens taking the field. And they've sort of lost their way, partner. How do they recalibrate and get this proverbial train back on track?
Well, this is where leadership really comes into play. How's the head coach handling it? The offensive coordinator? Sometimes they just make a joke. All right, guys, you had your fun? All right.
Throw it out the window.
Yeah, let's get back on track here. And sometimes that'll work just fine.
I guess it's time now to lean on that leadership. Jackson and the Ravens come up now, 1st and 10. Now again to Collins. And not a whole lot doing there as he'll get it up to about the 28-yard line. Fletcher Cox there for the tackle. And the trend continues here in the 4th like it was in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. He's had nowhere to run.
And you're probably thinking to yourself, why do they keep feeding him the football? Well, they trust him first and foremost. They do believe that over time he might actually pop one of these runs. The bottom line is he takes care of the ball well for them, so they'll keep handing it to him.
They go again with Collins. And it's been like this all night long. Nowhere to run as they stop him behind the line. It's a loss of 2, now 3rd down. Seems pretty obvious defensively a key was stopping the run game. How have they done it so successfully?
To me, it seems that these guys really did a nice job of paying attention during the scouting report meeting. And you know, Brandon, when they do those, they talk about the top plays that these guys like to run. The best runs for the top running back, those are the ones you focus on and want to take away. And they've done that pretty successfully in this game.
And they'll bring him down after just a short pickup. Now it appears we're going to get whistles and a stop. A man down on the return. While the training staff takes a peek, we'll take a break. Here's Sam Cook now as he's on to punt for Baltimore. Averaging over 50 yards a punt so far as this one's away. This is brought in at the 21. Nice job bringing that one back. 14 on the return. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. The Eagles offense now gets set to head back onto the field. And this game comfortably in hand. The scoreboard speaks for itself, but you still got your starting quarterback out there. When do you go to the backup? Let him get some time.
And that's one of the great questions in the NFL, Brandon, because I'm just going to tell you, in the 2015 season, I commentated on 3 games in a row that were blowouts. And in none of them did the starting quarterback ever come out of the game for the team that had a big lead. And in each instance, I asked the coaches later on, why didn't you do that? And they all looked at me and said, just don't really do that in the NFL. You know, these guys play, and we just play them all the way through. Now, in certain situations, they will take them out, but for the most part, they're not as worried and concerned about getting them out of the game. And that's always puzzled me a little bit.
Again, it's Penny. And, a little spin cycle. Room to run now. Look at those stick skills. A terrific run there by Penny. 64 yards on the ground.
He's still rumbling, isn't he? Still looking fresh in this one despite the heavy workload. But you and I both know, well-conditioned, and he did tell us that he thrives on being at his peak late in ball games.
Well, that didn't take long. One play, and we're already looking at a first-and-goal situation. Defense still with 3 timeouts. We'll see if they want to use them here as the kneel down comes. 2nd and goal, and Penny standing by himself in the backfield.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
And they'll indeed take a knee. A big play to start the drive got him in this position, but this defense has held firm since, and now it's 3rd and goal. And they take a knee. Well, Charles, the forecast called for rain throughout the entire game, and we got rain throughout the entire game. But these two teams, they had fun getting dirty out there. They love the slop.
Did you trust the forecast ahead of time? Are you one of those guys that's skeptical about it, or did you trust it?
But when I saw just a big blob of green on the radar, I said, okay, let's trust.
Yeah, and that's why I'm glad you took my advice. Got your notes laminated, because, you know, open-air booth, that rain can affect us as well, although not as much as the guys on the field. But let's face it, it's kind of fun to watch these types of games, isn't it?
It is. By the way, how impressive is it that you travel with a laminator? I didn't even know there was a portable laminator.
The things that you learn.
Golly, wise beyond his years. So for the Eagles, they used a favorable early schedule to their advantage as they move to 2-0. And they'll hit the road next week to take on the Arizona Cardinals. Meanwhile, for Baltimore, they'll drop to 0-2. And they will be at home next week to take on